All right.
hard face.
Here we go. Spawning at the top position here on Cloud Kingdom, which is the most awesomest of maps. It is the Red Protoss from UCAP<silence> JayPower.
And now his opponent in the lower left, a name that many of you I'm sure will recognize, playing for Team Liquid, it is Rhett.
Wow.
And ZVP on Cloud Kingdom, it is one of the favorite maps of most players, viewers, and casters alike. Probably only second to Daybreak, I would say, is the only map which is more popular.
Yeah, I have to agree on that part. And, you know, Cloud Kingdom, I can't blame anybody for liking this map, because this map is... It makes for such interesting games most of the times, with all its terrain features. Like, you have the alternating low and high ground all throughout the center, and the low ground is not being small spaces. Quite the contrary, it's quite open and wide, so makes for very exciting engagements where you have to micro on a big surface, a lot of units, and really shows. It really shows the tactical aptness of the players. So it should be good.
You're quite right, and the other thing which is worth noting about this map is just the third base for the Zerg player. It's got two very large open entrances to it. It makes Immortal Sentry all-ins very potent just when you get the force fields down. But just coming back to the game at the moment, we do have JPower going for that pylon block at the natural. So Rhett's gone and taken his third first, which is a fairly normal thing to be doing. It's pretty solid. But it's what's happening behind this for JPower that's exciting for me, is he's not going for the Forge Fast expansion.
No.
He's getting the gas up, the gate, and the cyber core. So is this going to be some early aggression?
Now I remember. JayPower apparently is the author of a build that is supposed to be way better than Parting's Immortal All-In if you execute correctly, and it starts by doing a gateway expand. Now I remember his name. He was like, when I casted the first qualifier, we casted one of his games, and everybody in the chat was like, JayPower, go! Yeah, you're the man! So, yeah, I got a little bit of a heads up back then that this guy is actually apparently genius.
In which case, Rhett might be about to get a run for his money, which will be exciting for all of us to see. That probe just sitting there on patrol by the third base. Rhett still hasn't actually managed to deal with that pylon, so it's delaying the timing of his third base compared to what we saw in the first game of Rhett's today, where he got it down before the 4-minute mark. It's now going to be more like the 4-minute 40 at least. So that in itself is going to be pretty difficult, but Red, he's gone for an additional couple of Zerglings, up to 6, and that's in a direct response to seeing that probe still sitting around, and also what he scouted with his Overlord, and that the Nexus was slightly delayed.
Yeah, he also did get the gas, and he's working on his speed, pulling all of the drones from the gas for now. And JayPower just asserting some map control with the Zod and Stalker. Has to be careful not to get surrounded by these links. Don't think that will happen. And is he just... No, he can't be expanding again. He just does not have the economy to do so. What is that probe doing there? Maybe just spotting for units, I would say.
Well, the one thing the probe could be doing, which I have seen done a couple of times, and Red still hasn't taken his third, which is worth really pointing out, but it does go down now. But what that probe could be doing at the third is just waiting to see if Zerglings come up, because you could do a little bit of mind games by chucking down a pylon at your third base position, which Zerglings may assume as you attempting to take a super quick third base. So, admittedly, it's a big mind game play, but it's a possibility. Meanwhile, Red has spotted that proxy pylon, will start taking it out. The Zealot and Stalker aren't going to have too much success in their aggression from this point onwards, just due to the fact speed is about to finish up and a sizable number of Zerglings already on the field.
Yeah, and speed is about to finish in 3 seconds here. JayPower, look at this. He's actually doing this really smartly. Look at the drone count for Red. 28 drones only. Quite a high number of Zerglings, but those Zerglings, as soon as sentries are going to start coming out, which they already are going to be essentially useless. He tricked Red into thinking that he's pushing really, really early with 3 or 4 gates, trying to get a second base behind this, making Red overproduce attacking units. Oh, and that's odd. Is it on hold position? No, it's not. Better be on hold position. There we go. And now Red essentially cannot do anything cannot get a scout off because this patrolling Stalker or Stalkers potentially will deny any sort of scouting, and JayPower is getting a Stargate behind this.
This could really catch Red off guard, especially with what he's seeing. This is brilliant mind games, but inevitably, Red does have a sizable ground force at the moment, and that means that JayPower needs to be very focused on his defense, making sure that he doesn't allow those speedlings into his base, because that could be where problems arrive. But the first Phoenix, now in production. We've got Rhett just happily droning up as best he can. He's still ahead in the drone count, and while his third base was delayed, it doesn't matter hugely because the usual 4-minute timing wasn't needed when your opponent doesn't go for a Forge Fast expansion. You can take it a bit later because you're still going to be a base up, but Rhett, he's just threatening with those speedlings right now.
Yeah, and we do have an evolution chamber going down, a roach warren going down, and a lair just now started. But, you know, if JayPower would kernel boost those phoenixes a little bit more, I think he would move out of his base before any spore crawlers were down. And what he's doing actually makes a whole lot of sense. First, he forces the Zerg to make a lot of ground-based units, and then does not produce any ground units because he doesn't need to, and he can't even, because he would need a large army to afford to move out of his base. So he's going Stargate tech. Now, will we have any spore crawlers being placed anywhere by Red anytime
they're
soon?
going down now. He knows something's not quite right. We're at the 9-minute 45 mark. This is where you should have been seeing a move out for an Immortal Sentry all-in. You should start seeing that move across. So those spore crawlers are saying, hey, this is most likely going to be air. It could also be some kind of scary tech. But the Phoenix now revealed as well. The Twilight Council is on its way down. But these Phoenix, along with the additional gateways, are going to allow for some nice little bits of push, because Phoenix aren't just about the harassment. In a head-on engagement with roaches, they can lift quite a few up, and then you start reducing the capability of a Zerg in those head-on gateway clashes. So that's something that JayPower needs to think about. They're not going to be able to harass though, just due to those spore crawlers. And I'd say Rhett is still slightly ahead for the time being.
Yeah, he is, and he's thinking of attacking actually into JayPower while JayPower is using these Phoenix to pick off every single queen that he can. Red also preemptively built those spores a little bit further away from his hatches in preparation for DT play, for example, because it could have been that. But, you know, he's sending his ground army to pressure JayPower, and he's trying to deal with the Phoenixes just using queens and spore crawler positioning, and already lost one queen at his third, so that's going to eat into his larva count just a little bit.
And once you start losing that larva count, losing the production capability, you can run into problems going into the mid-game. But look at the third base for JayPower. He has got so many units sitting around there. The Void Ray does see it and can start dealing some damage. But if this small force gets caught out of guard, this could do a lot of damage. The force fields are going to have to come down, but Red just charging straight in.
Nice force fields, isolating most of the roaches there, but without any mortals, those Phoenixes will have to start helping out. That Void Ray, of course, will do tons and tons of damage once it is charged against those roaches. Nice micro from JayPower, but I really think that ultimately Red just has too much, and he's even rallying more units, more roaches over. JayPower doing what he can, and now those roaches say that, oh hey, we killed all the sentries, we don't have to stay here and get pummeled by those Void Rays and everything else. Let's just pull back to the safety of the now finishing fourth base. Red is actually macroing very nicely behind this, and JayPower knows that he has to make something happen, and he's on the counter-offensive yet again.
Exactly, Rhett, he has just macroed like a beast. He's got his fourth base up. These Stalkers are going to get caught out of position here. We can see that the Speedlings are starting chipping away the Roaches, chasing down as well. The Void Ray desperately trying to do damage, but I can't help but feel Rhett maybe has just got too much of a force up right now, and it's not going to be too much fun, especially when he's already up to his fourth base. But the Infestors should start hitting shortly. Burrow coming down +2, but as we can see, for the time being, JayPower seems to be holding this natural just barely indeed. He also has Blink on the way, +2 attack, just now finished. Red is still on 0-0 for the Lings, but 1-0 for the Roaches. He is getting +2. That will finish very shortly. He's getting Burrow, as you said before. JayPower trying maybe to take a fourth base
well, I don't really think he can hold a third base right now, and with the ability to pump out infestors that are just now being produced by Red, and, you know, no blink, how are you going to go past the fungals, and no sentries to isolate those infestors and keep them in the back? Your only chance is to lift them with the phoenixes, but one fungal and those phoenixes are dead as they pass along the infestors unnoticed.
They are some brave phoenix right there. They're running around the infestors, have now been selected. Can Red get them? No. Phoenix go back, but look at this force. It's going to come straight in towards the third. That is definitely gonna be cancelled. Even if the force fields go down, Red just charging forward, trying to get this round as best he can. The Phoenix do now get caught by a fungal growth as well. As we can see, the cannon now falls. This is just so many units for Red, and against a pure gateway force, these roaches are just shredding through it. Upgrade-wise, we can see that it's 2-0 against 2-0, so it is equal, but Red just with such a superior force, he's going to be able to clean this up.
Yeah, he is, and once the thought is that JayPower, though, doing a very good job overall. I don't think he even managed to... Did you catch if he cancelled the third base, or if he...
I don't believe he did.
I think it just went down, so that's a net 400 loss. So Red's taking a fifth base. He is on 86 drones already, and the Hive just started as well.
Hive started, Corruptor's coming out. This is Ret preparing for late game, which is, I think it's a credit to Ret that even though he's quite a long way ahead right now with just the base count and his army size, he's just sticking to his normal guns. He's doing things as he normally would, getting up the Hive, getting up the expansions, playing solid, playing standard, so that if something were to catch him off guard, he would still be prepared. So we've got the push coming in here. The Zerglings trying to do some damage. One of those gateways falling. Force fields are good, and Burrowed Infestors coming in as well now.
I expect a lot of infested turns will be thrown down because, you know, no Colossi, no nothing. What are you going to do?
Meanwhile, we do have some counter-aggression coming in. Zealots towards the 4th and 3rd of Ret. They are taking out those queens as quickly as possible and are now going to town on the drones. But meanwhile, at the natural, it's a beach ball party. There are so many infested Terrans getting chucked down here. Ret not even pulling back to defend. He is just going to clean this up as fast as he can. And these infested Terrans, they have done some good damage.
Yes, they have. Cleaning half of the army. Not killing very many probes, but still quite a lot of them. Let's see, 30 probes have gone down so far. Oh, actually 15 only, and 30 for JayPower. JayPower did a very good job at that 3rd and 4th base of Red, killing so many drones, but, you know, bad news for him that he can try all he wants. But Greater Spire is on the way, and he just does not have the capability to hold any type of Broodlord switch.
The Broodlords could be the nail in the coffin. JayPower, he did a great job with that harassment, as you said, killed off a lot of workers, but unfortunately for him, Ret is still over 20 workers ahead. He's got his Greater Spire coming out, but I don't think it's even going to get that far. We see now just a mass of roaches flooding in. The gateway is now going down. No more sentries there to force field. That means the natural base completely exposed. We're at 180 supply for Ret to 60 supply for JayPower. And while he has had a valiant defense all through this game, he's played really solid. I think Red will now take it.
Yes, he will. We are just waiting for the GG. So, yeah, in summary, very nice beginning, very nice mind games, nice strategical thinking by JayPower, but ultimately once Red correctly identified what the hell is going on, he was just able to out-macro JayPower and abuse the fact that his natural was later than if it was a Forge Fast Expand. That meant that his 3rd was later, and Red just had enough units out on the grounds to prevent that 3rd from ever going down, and there's a GG. Well played from JayPower. Red advances further.